So it appears US lawmakers want to ban VPNs, and it also appears that they have no idea what they're doing. This is a story that just sort of risen to the top last week, although it started a few weeks ago now. And let's just have a quick dig into it. It's about Wisconsin and Michigan. They're talking about how to block VPNs completely in certain situations. Yep, the same privacy tools used by millions of ordinary people every single day. And according to this article in the EFF, the Electronic Free Frontier Foundation, I always say that wrong, they have no idea what they're doing. I think we can all possibly believe this. So they found they were trying to implement some age verification, and they've noticed that, like most governments, the VPNs bypass all this stuff. And instead of taking it as a sign that maybe, people don't want mass surveillance and it's not that popular, they've decided the real problem is that VPNs exist anyway. So we're going to have a look at the reality between these proposals in the US and also the worrying parallels it's got for the UK and what it could mean for all our privacy wherever we are. Okay, so what these laws claim to do. Beg your pardon. So in Wisconsin and Michigan, these bills are being pushed that would force websites containing sexual content to do two things. Now, I should also clarify as well, they're trying to expand what is sexual content and what is adult material. So don't please just think this is people accessing porn sites, because it's more than that. And it's the scope of all these laws are getting bigger and bigger. So they want to verify the age of the users, and they want to block access for anyone using a VPN. And it's this second one that's technically the big problem. I mean, over in the UK, Ofcom is trying to do something similar, obviously, in the Online Safety Act, and they're calling VPNs a loophole. So they've just kind of parked that there. But these two states have recognised it just circumvents everything, and they want to block them. So they're putting these laws into place. Now, Wisconsin's, I believe, have passed state assembly, and now the legislation is moving to the Senate, which I presume is probably the last stage, but I don't know. Michigan lawmakers have had similar legislation, very similar, in fact. It's not moved through legislature yet. I don't know if there's any political reasons or there's some kickback on it. Michigan, I should say, has the coolest name because theirs is called Anti-Corruption of Public Morals Act, which sounds very Victorian or puritanical. It does sound like something from a bygone year to me, but yeah, it's a cool name anyway. So, the EFF's verdict here is that they don't understand VPNs, and I'm going to explain why I think they're very probably right. The core reason is that because a website cannot reliably determine where a VPN user is physically located. So I'm going to show you a little example of that in a minute. And when a bill says we've got to, which they do, block all VPN users in Wisconsin, what it really practically actually means is you have to block all VPN users everywhere. You can't say where they're from. It's the whole point of a VPN. You have to block legitimate traffic alongside bad, and you just break bits of the internet, really, because you're blocking people left, right, and centre. So just look at this very, very simple diagram. It's supposed to illustrate a VPN I've put together. You can tell I have great skills in this area. So in this diagram, everything about you is hidden inside the blue encrypted tube. That's the VPN tunnel. By the time there's you here, so it's your computer, your laptop, your phone, whatever, goes to the VPN server. By the time it reaches the internet cloud, the website only sees the VPN server. It doesn't see any of you. You're completely hidden from it all. And so they can't see where you started from. They can see the location. Technically, they could look up the location of the VPN server. So we could block all Michigan VPN servers. But everybody using it will be from all over the world, possibly. So just to quickly go through this, if you're familiar with VPNs, please bear with me or skip a couple of minutes in. But I know a lot of people don't really understand all this sometimes. So you connect to the VPN first. There's you at the thing. You connect to a VPN server, which is in this middle tunnel. And this is encrypted, so nobody can see this. Your ISP even can only see that Bob is talking to a VPN server. They can't see anything else. Everything inside that blue tunnel is hidden. So once the VPN is connected, so every website connection you make to things like Facebook, Twitter, or X, or wherever, you'll only really talk to the VPN server. Your real IP address and location will never get to this side. It always stays at that side. The VPN server becomes your public face. All these websites, everything on the internet will only see this VPN server. And of course, the only location they can determine is where this server is. I can be in Wisconsin, Warsaw, or Wales. They won't know. These websites that are being told to block Wisconsin VPN servers haven't got a cope. They can't do it. The source IP is always the VPN server, and that's kind of the point. This is why, for instance, I use a VPN to watch BBC iPlayer when I'm travelling, because BBC iPlayer sits here and says I can only use UK users to watch it for free. And if my computer is in Spain on holiday, having a nice time, I connect to a UK server and BBC iPlayer works. So that's basically what it is. None of these websites see your home IP address, where you live, your real location, or which country you're in if you're using a VPN. So this is when you can't block VPN users in a certain location because it just doesn't make sense. Okay, so we should think perhaps about all the collateral damage here as well. Remember, these are not just adult sites. They're all sorts of sites on human biology, for crying out loud. And the scope of these sites will creep up every year, I can guarantee you that. The collateral damage, us VPN users. Now, there's all sorts of people who use VPNs, ordinary people, remote workers. I worked for a big organisation, international organisation, for about 10 years, and we had to use VPNs on our laptops all the time. We had no choice. There was VPNs to connect back to the corporate network or to do anything, because it's the internet we're using as a transport medium, so which is inherently unsafe. So they put VPNs on it, and most international companies are like that. Schools or universities always use VPNs heavily. Let's go and even see Wisconsin University. They have Whisk VPN, a virtual private network, which they provide for free for all their students to upload and connect and download periodicals and upload their work to their tutors. It's day-to-day stuff, really. That's how VPNs work. Journalists, whistleblowers, domestic abuse survivors, LGBTQ, and other vulnerable groups who connect to sort of support forums and discussion forums about sexuality and stuff like that, that'll all get blocked. I can guarantee that. Anyone who wants to avoid ISP tracking, anyone tired of being profiled by advertisers, and normally family households who just want some privacy, really. VPN bans don't stop criminals, because they've got other options. They stop ordinary people. Okay, so what we'll be left with, you take the VPNs, they'll have to block all of the VPNs to make this work. Let's just remember that. People are forced then to do the age verification bit through the usual methods, government IDs, uploading a driving license, passport, whatever, facial recognition, the creepy biometric scanning, credit card verification, stuff like that. We know where all this information will go. So even if we take the person just trying to access an adult website, they're going to have to upload their government ID to a, let's say, adult website whose first priority is not possibly the security of confidential data. And we know what's going to happen with that. Suddenly your real name is attached to the websites you visit, your details are up there, and they're stored in some poorly secured database or Excel worksheet. And it's not a matter of time of when it gets lost. If it gets lost, it's when somebody's going to steal it or pinch it. And after all this, it still won't work anyway. You can ban commercial VPN companies. Lots of places like BBC iPlayer, as I said, have been trying for years to block VPN connections. Netflix and Amazon Prime and all these sort of stuff, they try and block VPNs. They kind of 80% succeed, but not completely, because there are ways around it. And there are other ways around it other than using outside the VPN companies as well. So you can run your own VPN on a cloud server. It doesn't cost that much. It's not that hard to do. You can use Tor, the Onion routing network, which is basically bounces your connection off, very badly explained, other people's connections, and encrypts all your data as well, and hides your location. Rotating proxies, there's some really, really cool rotating proxies where they switch your residential IP address. Now, that's an IP address registered to a residential address, so it's not connected to a commercial data center, which most VPNs are, so you can't really detect them at all, and they can switch your IP address every 2 minutes if you want. Or you can tunnel through private networks, set up user home-to-home encrypted relays with your friend and work or colleagues or whatever stuff. Loads of stuff that you can do. Oh, and I should point out, why should this concern UK viewers? Okay, so in the UK, Ofcom is already saying they plan to monitor VPN usage, and they are doing it now. I made a video about it last week. We're watching the same storyline unfold as we are in all these other places across Europe, Australia, Germany, Italy, France, everywhere. Of course, some of those are in Europe, but age verification is important. VPNs make it harder. Let's restrict them. That's the storyline. They want to verify your age. VPNs stop you verifying your age. Let's block them. And once you start restricting VPNs, you're on a slippery slope because you have to start blocking everything. You're making every privacy tool we rely on basically illegal. And it'll happen in the UK if we're not too careful too. And this is why the EFF says these proposals aren't about safety. So go and read the article. I'll put a link in the description below. It's worth doing. I'll put another one. There was a good article on Tech Radar about the Michigan law as well. I think that's come into some sort of trouble. I'm not sure. I'm going to check up on that anyway. But they're not about safety. They're expanding surveillance by weakening privacy tools that we use. So should governments ever have the power to restrict VPN use? Or is it the beginning of something much bigger? Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you want more of this sort of content. Thank you for watching, and have a great day, everybody. Bye for now.